Yo, party people in the place to be. What's good? It's your main man, Uncle Freezy. I'm joined by your producer's favorite producer, Chuck Allen, and the big homie Soul Finger 1212 is in the building. We're gonna rock the spot. We're gonna review a movie from 1991 called The Silence of the Lambs.
Yep.
All right, so what I want to do is get y'all initial impression when you saw the movie trailer. I want to get your impression of when you saw the movie trailer, what you thought, right? Like, what was your impression when you saw the movie trailer, and then we'll talk about what we thought of what we thought after we saw the movie. Then we'll break the movie all the way down. Chuck, you want to start? Like, you want to start about the initial movie trailer?
The initial movie trailer didn't move me because I'm gonna put this in context for those who listen. Like, how could you? It was 11.
Okay.
I was 11, so it was like if it didn't have anything to do with some kiddie stuff, I wasn't.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, if it wasn't teenage like or Batman, something to that effect, like I was not interested. So when I first saw it, now I remember my step pops was like he had to go see it, and I was like, nah, I'm cool.
Okay. Okay.
So that's my first impression of the trailer.
Okay. Okay. What about you, Sophie?
Believe it or not, Freezy, I never saw the trailer when I went to see it.
What?
Yeah, at the time I was stationed in 29 Palms, and I went because the only reason I knew about it was because of a girl.
Okay.
She said she wanted to go to the movies, so um, at the time, see, it came out in '91, but it came out in '91 towards the end, so I wound up seeing it in like '92. Like I said, I was up at 29, and I had to drive from 29 Palms to Riverside,
Okay.
California, and saw it at the theater there. So I didn't know nothing about no damn Silence of the Lambs. Hell, I'm just trying to go with a female. I mean, she had been out there in the desert with a bunch of hard legs and stuff, you know. So I was like, and we were stationed together too. So we
Right.
went and saw it, and that's all I knew. I didn't know nothing about it, man. Look, I got my popcorn, my soda, and sat down and watched it.
Okay.
So
Um, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I'm gonna just say this in a basically 1991 was a year of really, really, really good movies and duds,
Yep.
right?
yep,
So in 1991, The Silence of the Lambs came out. That wasn't the movie in the forefront of my mind. The movie in the forefront of my mind was a movie Terminator 2, right?
Yep.
Because
yep.
Terminator, yo, on VHS, we would wake up every day. Wake up in the morning before we watch our play, before we watch our face, we just throw Terminator in the VCR. You know what I'm saying? And Terminator would start our day. I'm talking about like, whatever, right? Before we even do anything, before cats smoke their cigarette, before cats crank up some coffee, before cats do, though, roommates is like, yo, put that Terminator in. We watch Terminator every day, bro. When I say every day, you hear me? Every day. And there were other movies in 91, like JFK. Bro, JFK was great. Backdraft. Y'all remember that movie Backdraft?
Yep, remember
Yep.
that one?
Backdraft was great. Um, uh, Thelma and Louise was crazy because of the ending.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Boys in the Hood. That summer, I remember that summer seeing Boys in the Hood, taking my girl to go see, Boys in the Hood. Um, City Slickers was a joint with Billy Crystal,
Oh,
who,
damn, that was '91 too. Dang, I
yep,
forgot about
yep.
that.
Yep.
Yeah, and that Richard Dreyfuss, it was so the Richard Dreyfuss movie, What About Bob, was so hilarious, bro.
That was comedy.
Yes, yes, bro. There was so many movies out during that time, man. I was, man. Basically, um, there was a movie that came out. I believe it came out in 90, or might have been 92. I can't remember. Yeah, I remember that movie Ghost with Demi Moore and Patrick
Yep.
Swayze.
Yes.
Swayze, Whoopi Goldberg.
Whoopi Goldberg. Yeah, what year, do y'all remember what year that movie came out? I can't remember.
I thought it was like 88, but I think it could have been 91, 92.
Was it 88? Let me see. I'm just gonna Google it really quick. Ghost.
1990.
Okay, it came out in 90, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we were watching that over and over again.
Yeah.
And so my initial feeling of when I saw The Silence of the Lambs come out, I was like, I don't know. Because this chick in the movie, this is Jodie Foster is in The Silence of the Lambs, right?
Yes, indeed. Jodie
Yes.
Foster.
At the time, Jodie Foster was like, she was okay,
Yeah.
right? She was okay, right? But man, I remembered her from a movie called Little Man Tate. Y'all remember that?
Yeah. That was the kid with the heart condition, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So and she had to do all these things to, whatever. So when The Silence of the Lambs came out, I was like, yeah. I don't know. So I didn't go see it in the movies that like initially, like it wasn't compelling to me. Till my roommate told me that it was a novel that they turned into a book. And so when I saw that, I was like, you know what? Maybe we'll go see it. So we go see it. We go see it, and then come to find out the movie in my mind is great. I think it's comparable in my mind to a movie called The Shawshank Redemption in terms of the twists, the turns, how it makes you think, how it's spellbound.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. So what did y'all think after y'all saw it? After you saw it, like, was it worth the okay, so going to the movies at that time, you probably spent what, $15 at the movies? Like
I
you
think
and your
about
girl,
15.
yeah, you and your girl, you're gonna get her some hot popcorn, some ice cold Pepsi, some type of gummy candy or something. You spend like $15.
I think
Was
at
it
the
worth
most was about like, I think that about that time you spend about $25 total for pretty much everything.
it?
So, and I went in with an open mind because I didn't know nothing about the movie.
Right.
So, and then too, because I know at that time where my mind was at, I want to see the Boys in the Hood, the Terminator type deal. That's where my mindset was at. Because you gotta understand, I was about what? I want to say I was either like 19, 20 at the time.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
That was I was 19.
Okay.
I was 19, probably turning 19. And so my mindset went on a movie like that to open, because I'm closed-minded because of what I was around.
Right.
After I walked out, I was like, damn, that was tight. That was tight. But and as we get into it, the one character, Buffalo Bill, we'll get into it.
Yeah.
And that he became a saying.
Right.
He kind of became a saying for me and the fellas, but along with it, because it was, like I said, it was a bunch of us. I had my girl with me who was stationed. We were stationed together, and the other cats that were stationed with. We all went down there to go watch it, and on a humbug. I didn't know nothing about it. She said, "Let's go," and had a homegirl go. So and cats trying to so everybody hopped in cars and rolled down, and like I said, I thought it was I was like, man, it was tight. But we'll get into it. I'll get into the characters as you introduce them because I don't want, I already dropped one name, but I don't want to say nothing about it.
Yeah.
I don't want to mess up nothing on else, but it was a tight movie, and I still think, and I consider it still to this day a classic. On one of those
classic.
Oh yeah, a low on a low classic. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those classic movie. You know, it's a date night kind of classic. That's what I mean by that. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? You know, if you even though you've seen it or whatever, you can sit down with a chick, you know, and you can put it on and you can kind of discuss. I mean, you know, other than the classical chick flick, do a
Right.
little something because you could talk about it. Because, like I said, I'll get into it as we get into the movie. I'll get into why I said that because I don't want to be going too far. I don't want to jump ahead for you. I don't want to jump ahead.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. So let's get into the movie. So the movie starts off in the beginning. It starts off with an attachment to who we think at the time is the main character. So the character we are introduced first to, Clarice, we think it is the main character, right? And generally in movies, the protagonist is introduced first so that you can get some type of attachment to somebody. So the first person you see generally, you know, the first real person you see, you know, you trying to get an attachment to as a protagonist. So we see her running in the forest, but then when you hear the Silence of the Lambs, DSJ is in the building. But when you look at the movie The Silence of the Lambs, it looks creepy. This person's running in the forest. Did y'all anticipate something happening to her in the very beginning of the movie?
Yes.
Yeah, I was kind of like, okay, let's see what's going. Yeah, you know, I did because it was you think along the lines of the typical slasher joint.
Right.
Because like I said, I didn't know what it was, so I was thinking, oh, she running in the forest. She about to get split from, you know, butthole to appetite. See, I'm using
From Cootie to Tooter. Yeah.
yes
Yeah.
indeed.
This is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like, you know, why is this white girl running in the forest by herself in a movie when a serial killer needs to be caught? Right. That's what I'm thinking. Just, you know, that's what I was thinking then. And then when I saw it again today for like the 99th time, just to refresh, I'm still thinking the same thing. Why is she running in the forest by herself? Is this thing setting up for something? Right. But at the same time, is the director trying to establish the character from a position of strength? That's what I was thinking. Like after I watched the movie, then I watched it again today. I'm like, oh, what he doing? Is he trying to get us to believe that this character is going to be strong enough to defend herself?
Right. But because as you move further, you see where they try to further establish the point that she's trying to prove herself.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
So you show her in that position to make the audience feel like she's independent and she's strong.
Right.
Because no woman should be out there in the forest alone. Right.
Right.
And then you cut to the training, and you're like, oh,
okay. This is different. Okay. This is different, right?
Right.
You know what shocked me though? What kind of caught me was the dude came in out of nowhere from her 3 o'clock and bust into the scene. Hey! And when that happened, I thought that was the part where the serial killer was going to take his first victim. And then he started talking business. Hey, such and such wants you in his office pronto or ASAP.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But when he bust into the scene, I was like, shit.
Starling.
Yeah. I thought that was the part where the serial killer was just going to go on a rampage, right? Starting right here,
right.
Very beginning of the movie. And mind you, in 1991, we had been oversaturated with slasher, Freddy Krueger, Jason, the Grateful
Child's Play.
Yeah, Child's Play, the Living Dead, zombie movies, all these things, they start to slash before the credits can even get done. Right? So then when I see a man crash into the scene, I'm thinking, let me get my clicker out for the victims. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, it didn't happen there, but at the same time, to see her running all the way back to the building, all of a sudden, in my mind, establishes this thing that I think the director is sending a message like, okay, this character right here is physically fit. She's it. She's going to be a heroine, right? Right. She's going to be the hero of this movie because by showing her run and do the obstacle course, this little lady, when you see that she is training to be a special agent with the CIA, that she is able to handle herself. No matter what happens, she's going to be put in compromising positions, but she'll be able to be able to handle herself.
And I think it's important. I think it was important for them to do that because if you look at her stature, right?
Right.
Whenever she's surrounded by men, you can see that she's very small in stature, right?
Right.
So in order for you to believe that she is capable of being the heroine in the movie, you have to show that she's tough. And what's tougher? You got to be a tough SOB to be going through training to become a special agent in the CIA, right?
Yes.
Not only that, she's smart.
Right.
She's smart.
Right.
But also you also see that she has a lot to learn.
Yes. Right.
Yeah, you definitely saw that she was really, really green. She was highly intelligent,
Right.
but she was really naive to a lot of things around her.
Right.
And I don't want to give away the
And perceptive though. She was very perceptive too, though.
right.
I'm gonna wait because you said something about that. I'm gonna bring it back up when you get to a certain part in the movie about her perception, how perceptive. Because I think I already know it's a certain you're gonna lead it. What reason you brought that up, Reese? I got a feeling it's a certain scene. I'm gonna wait.
I'm sorry, Chuck.
I was just going to add because I don't want to lead. So after coming to terms with, okay, so she's bright, she's smart, she can handle herself,
Physically fit,
but she lacks experience.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
She doesn't lack for confidence.
Nope.
But there is for her a mental hurdle that she has to get over.
Yeah.
Because it's all mental. The very part that I'm speaking of her being green is when they go through the exercise, right? And she goes in, she commands the room, spread your hands, get your hands against the wall, spread your legs. But she forgot to check the corner.
And
that was a mental.
That is a thing that might come back later on, right?
Right.
Without giving away the movie.
Right.
Right. That blind spot that Chuck just mentioned, we need to put a pinpoint in that spot right there on the timeline, because that very thing Chuck just said, we'll see it again later on in the movie. That very thing that Chuck just said. And the director did such a great job of pointing that out, that in certain parts of the movie, he highlights this blind spot with other law enforcement officials all the time. This is their blind spot, right? So it may not be a Clarice issue. It may be a training issue. It may be
Right.
like a system issue, or it may not be a blind spot. It may be a loophole that can be exploited. But at Soulfinger, when she gets to the office to meet her boss, to talk to him for the very first time about taking on the project, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you notice, while Clarice is running through the building, the camera, which I think is trying to let us know that's her perspective, she
Mm-hmm.
is noticing everything
Around her.
heading up to the boss's office.
Mm-hmm.
She notices that there's a phone just about everywhere. And the black dude that she ran by is like, "Hey man, can I use your phone?" He's like, "Sure, yeah, you can use the phone." Another thing that I noticed, that those type of things, as she ran up, it was like she's just stashing stuff, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
She
taking all
go,
kind of mental notes.
yes, like her recorder, her mental recorder is always going. And if you notice, like the part that when she goes in, she doesn't go straight to her boss's office. She see two people talking in a corner office. She stop in like, and just look. She's like, hey, you looking for your boss? Just go in his office and wait on him. But she went in that room and looked around. And then she went in her boss's office that was empty and then looked around in her boss's office too. Getting an idea, gauging her surroundings to see what's coming up next.
Right.
Well, what I liked about it though, Freeze, the way they gave you an idea of who she was, or or getting you familiar with her, because um, it showed the tools that made her not just the physical tool, her physical tools, but the mental tools that she had, or the skill set she had that many people don't have,
Right.
that made set her aside to actually make her more dangerous than you would think, because that
Right.
the way the photographic memory and her perception of everything, because now
Right.
she's reading people to get an
Right.
understanding of who she's dealing with and how to either counter or counter or parry with them in their mental gymnastics.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it also sets up to when we meet the next character, like you've established, like she's very perceptive. She examines her surroundings
Right.
because she does this throughout the movie.
The whole movie.
Throughout the whole movie,
Right.
whatever situation she's in, she's always looking around, gauging the room, looking eyes, looking at uh, uh, posture and stuff like that.
Right.
I think this also gives her a, for a lack of a better word, superpower.
Right.
Like, okay, so whoever this protagonist is up against, they're gonna have their hands full because this person is is prepared.
Right.
Like they're not, if they win, it's not going to be because they're not prepared, right?
Right. Right.
So that's what I got. That's how I felt. Like, okay.
And Chuck, and if I may piggyback off what Chuck said, since he stole all my upcoming stuff for the next 30 minutes. Chuck just read me like a book. Okay, so what I'm gonna do?
Chuck in his bag.
Yeah, he in his bag, bro. We
bag
weren't
today.
prepared to be. I'm just getting back in the flow, Chuck. I'm sorry, but so what Chuck said about her superpower and her perception, in my opinion, is the dreaded blessing and a curse. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Her superpower about noticing everything is the reason why this movie is titled The Silence of the Lambs and not To Catch a Serial Killer. Right? Because what happens is, in my opinion, we find out the reason why the name of this movie is The Silence of the Lambs is because she was a witness as a kid. She was a witness of lambs being led to slaughter, right?
Right.
And so she wanted to see if she can save all the lambs, but she couldn't. So she tried to save just one,
Mm-hmm.
right? And she couldn't. And the crying out of that lamb always plays in her head, right? Right?
Right.
Not to go too far, not to get too far, and not to get too far ahead, because one of the characters coming up read her like a book,
Right.
right? But he should have. He went to
That was-
school for it.
Yes,
He went-
sir.
Yeah, he went to school for it, right?
He was a renowned psychiatrist.
Right. So her boss asked her to help him with a case, the Buffalo Bill case,
Yes, sir.
right? The
Mhm.
Buffalo Bill case, right? Initially, when the boss walked in the room, I said, "There's your killer." Right there. That's what I thought. As soon as he entered the room, there's your killer. Right? You know, I watch movies. I write a little bit. I got transcripts in here on my computer saved up, man. I got some stuff published. I know how to create villains and all that stuff, right? I know how to manipulate the perception of people and all of that stuff in a fictional sense, right? When her boss walks in, I'm thinking the whole time, there's your killer, right? Because his wall has all of the news clippings and everything in it. What
Mhm.
better way to get away with murder than to be on the side of the people that are chasing you? So all the intel that they get and bring back to you, it helps you more and more get away with murder.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I was thinking. Right now, I was wrong, but okay. I was okay. Chuck, what did you think about the? What you think when the first time you saw her boss?
I thought this guy's an a-hole. And he wants something out of this. Like, if this thing is solved, he gets some type of promotion or something.
Okay.
It just didn't feel like he didn't come off as genuine. Like, his character didn't feel genuine. He seemed very tight behind, and he was going to give this. I don't want to say that. Because I have a question about why they chose her.
Right.
But from the boss, I didn't. I thought he was a scumbag. Like, he rubbed me the wrong way.
You didn't have a good feeling about him.
No.
Okay.
Because usually, sorry, I didn't mean to cut nobody off. Sorry, but usually in the movies, like, you have the tough nosed cop, right?
Right.
Or the police sergeant or police chief who's
The
an
grizzled
ass.
vet.
Right.
Yeah.
He usually has a problem with the person because, the rookie or the veteran cop, because the veteran cop doesn't do things by the book.
Right.
They're lazy. They're more lucky than anything else. And that's not the impression that you got from Agent Starling.
Right.
Like it seemed like she was on top of her stuff for the most part.
For the most
So I was
part.
like, yo, why is this guy kind of like giving very douchey vibes towards her?
Right. Right. I would say that the guy that played her boss was an excellent actor. Right.
Yes.
And the reason why I say that is because he played the aloof public official to a T. Right. He didn't give you the perception that he was really creepy, kind of creepy, but no, kind of creepy, but kind of disciplined.
Okay.
Right. Just warm enough to keep you engaged, but cold enough to give you the mind your business vibes. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like he was just personable enough to have you not hate him, but identify with him. Like I can see what he's going through. He probably been through so much stuff on the job. He don't get close to people because people will wash out the agency, or some of his friends get killed in the field, or something like that is what I was thinking. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Kind of like, and Soulfinger can attest, kind of like how E8s are perceived by E1s.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can't get too close to him because you hadn't been in Uncle Sam's service long enough. Right. But he's just warm enough to you that like he's been in your shoes before. Right.
He can relate. He can relate to you, but you can't relate to him.
You because you ain't been through enough stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the vibe that I was getting. Not that he didn't like her, but if you can imagine how many E1s that an E8 sees in his career, thousands of them, bro. Thousands of them. Some of them PCS, some of them ETS, some of them get chaptered, but you see so many of them that you really don't start attaching yourself to that level of, in this case, agent, until they're somebody. And Clarice Starling was a nobody. You know what I'm saying? But she had a certain skill that he noticed. Right? So he was like, hey, you know what? Because to be honest with you, it wasn't that she was necessarily that pretty. Because in my mind, her friend, the black girl, was just as pretty.
Yeah, and yeah.
Because
you talking about that. Because remember, if you go back in the beginning of the film, or it's a certain part, and I may have jumped a little bit.
I know where you're going. I think I know where you're going with this.
When they were running, the two of them were running, and a whole bunch of cats come running by them, and everybody turned their head.
Right.
Everybody was checking them out.
Right.
So, and the thing about it, when you're talking about both of them, I like how it was kind of they didn't use their looks or anything to get ahead. She didn't use her looks at all.
Right.
To get ahead. She was like focused.
Right.
And there's a reason behind it. And I know you hadn't gotten to that yet. So I'm gonna shut up now because I don't want to, I ain't trying to throw the turd in the punch bowl and mess up your flow.
I thought that was a Snickers. No, I'm just messing around. But nah, during what Starling said though, in that initial meeting,
yes,
he was like, "So why'd you choose me?" And he was going to say something. He said something that was really light, right? He came in for a soft landing, but he was like, "Oh, I know why you," because serial killers basically attract a certain type, right? And he was like, they generally stay within their own race and all of that stuff. Remember all that stuff she said in his office?
Right.
So that was for that reason, I think it narrowed down the search for whom he can get help for. And plus, Clarice was a pawn to manipulate the head doctor at the Baltimore mental facility.
Right.
Yep.
So, yeah, and so the thing about that though is this. That's what I was thinking. I was like, okay, he used her to get by the doctor at the facility, but the dudes that cared for the, I don't want to say antagonist because he's not. In my opinion, he's not the antagonist in this movie.
No, he's not.
The antagonist is the serial killer, right?
Yes.
But if you notice, the people that took care of Hannibal Lecter on a daily basis were black. Did y'all notice that? Frankie Faison?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The first
Yeah.
person
Oh
you
yeah.
see. Yeah.
You talking about when she first went there to go see Hannibal?
And it wasn't just Frankie Faison, though. It was another guy there, too. Those two dudes that handled Hannibal Lecter on a daily basis were black.
Yeah, all
Oh,
of them.
yes, that's right.
You notice it was only one. Because remember, the one guy with all the guns had all the guns that was behind the glass.
Right.
I
Right.
was looking at it because I was just looking at it, and it didn't dawn on me then when I first saw it or whatever. But when I was watching it, because I got a chance a little bit, do some review, and I was sitting there like, all these brothers up in here sitting up front, and the only cat with the guns is the white cat behind the glass with all the guns, and these cats are on the front line.
Right.
So I guess I'm gonna give up some dog meat.
Right. Right. But they get in, and so the creepy doctor, when he sees Clarice, the first thing he does is flirt.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
It's a lot of things going on in Baltimore, girl. You know what I'm saying? You go in here and talk to Hannibal Lecter, but if you're gonna be in here in the city, you know what I'm saying, I could take you around and show you stuff.
Yeah.
You remember in his office? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hit him with the gas face, and he ain't like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so he gave her the rules, like don't touch the glass, don't do such and such, don't
stay
do
on the
all these
right
things.
side the right side
Right.
when you walk down.
Right. And so the thing I learned, right, through that underground shelter that they were in,
Mm-hmm.
right, is that Hannibal Lecter was not there to kill Clarice at all.
Mm-mm.
The writer and the director used Hannibal Lecter to help you learn more about Clarice Starling by asking her questions, by getting her to open up, by sending her on wild goose chases. Right?
Yeah. You said something, Freezy, just real quick, but because in that first meeting, excuse me, how he was getting to know her, because it was the cat and mouse game,
Right.
but he had already, remember, I ain't jumping too far ahead because it's in the area when she went down to meet him.
Right.
Too far to, you want me to? I'll let you unfold it.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Do your thing, bro. Go ahead and do your thing.
He told her to stay down and gave all the rules, and she's going down and she's looking at all that, her being observant, perceptive. Okay.
Right.
Man, and this is what I was meaning earlier, being perceptive. So she was looking around, scanning, checking out each one of the inmates.
Right.
Who was what? And the one cat that told him what he could smell her.
Right.
And if you also look at the cells, how the cells were set up, all of them were in cells with bars.
Right.
You had the one cat to say what he said to her, and then you got the Hannibal.
Right.
Had the different setup.
Right.
Nobody else had that.
Right.
And when they were talking, and she's introduced herself, and whatever talking, and he asked for her credentials.
Right.
I don't know if you really peeped at how he did it, and he told him, don't get close to, because his cell was plexiglass.
Right. Yeah.
And he told her, don't get too close to the glass.
Right.
So he told her, can I see your, come a little closer.
Right.
But she didn't realize when she was looking at him, she had her credentials up. He wasn't looking at her credentials. He was looking at her in her eyes.
Yep.
He
And
looked down.
yep. And this one thing that people don't take into account, like a man loves, I'm talking about, macho testosterone man, love the scent of a woman. If you can't touch them, the scent of a woman can satisfy a man for a thimble full of time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Especially when
And-
you had all them cats down in there. That's leading up to the one.
Yeah. And so and so I don't know if you noticed, but Hannibal Lecter was well kept, well groomed.
Yeah. All the yes. That's something
They
you noticed.
allowed that man. Think about when you saw his face, Chuck. When you saw his face, I was a detention officer, bro. I was in corrections for a long time, right? So when I saw Hannibal Lecter, the thing I noticed is, damn, he is well shaven to be an inmate.
Yeah.
Cut, had haircut and clean.
His hair was
clean
greased
clothes.
back.
Yep.
Yep.
Cell was clean because remember it was a brother that was in there, old brother. He was sitting there all looking all scruffy. He was the only one sitting up in there. He was looking all bummy and scruffy.
Right.
The other cats were all in the gray jumpsuits. They were all in gray jumpsuits, and their cell were all dingy and stuff.
Right.
But he's in there looking clean, like he could be in the office somewhere working for you or running the shop, running the department.
Right. Right. DSJ so DSJ so dumb. DSJ so crazy. But yeah, man. What I noticed was too, when he asked her to get closer and closer, it wasn't because of her badge, right? Because for the most part, whoever they send down there to see him, he knows that they're going to be very important.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever they send, he's like, either I'm gonna talk to him or I'm not, depending on the agency or whoever. You know what I'm saying? Either I'm gonna talk to him or I'm not. Right? That's on him. Right? He got closer and closer, wanted her to get close so that they could share the same space. Because sharing the same space is not like, as simple as being in the same place, right? Like, for instance, like when say me and Chuck go to somebody's wedding, right? Me and Chuck in the same place, right? But say when Chuck holler at a chick, holler at one of the bridesmaids, and they over at the bar, and Chuck got on one of them expensive suits that he liked to rock or whatever, doing this thing, whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he is in a sharing a space with one of them, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Not trying to, but that's being in the same space, right?
It's more intimate, yes.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So if you're a caged animal, which Dr. Hannibal Lecter was, he doesn't often share the same space with a female, not because of sex, but because of the sensibilities. Dr. Hannibal Lecter was asking Clarice questions to get an understanding of her sensibilities and who she was as a person.
But also to piggyback on that, I was thinking maybe he was doing that because the rules are don't get close to the glass.
Right.
So if I can get you to come close to the glass, right?
Right.
then I know you're here for something important because you already broke the rules.
Right.
You really need my help because that's a very simple rule.
Right.
And it was and it also I think lets them know that okay, this person is willing to go there.
Right.
And I could probably, I wouldn't say necessarily trust them, but I may be more willing to help them. Why? Because any other agent probably would have just stood where they were standing originally
Right.
and not move and go through their whole spiel of I'm special agent, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Right?
Right. Right. Right.
Okay. She's not afraid. It seemed like she wasn't afraid.
Right.
But one thing that we know, or what we find out later about her, is that her curiosity will make her do things when she's afraid.
Right.
Because it was the cries of those lambs that made her curious.
Right.
To know where that sound was coming from.
Right.
And she says how she was afraid because he asked her, "Were you afraid?" I was afraid.
Chuck, well, but the question before that was very important, right? Not to cut you off, but he asked. He was like, "Hey, did he violate you? Did he rape you? Did he sodomize you?" Remember that he asked before that?
Yes.
And she was like, "No, he didn't. He was a great man."
Right.
Remember that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Because he was trying to find out about her father, right?
Right.
Because he was saying a whole bunch of things because of her accent.
Right.
West Virginian. And you know maybe we don't know the stereotypes of those from West Virginia.
Yeah.
There are a lot of supposedly, allegedly, incest.
Inbreeding.
Right?
Yeah.
Inbreeding and stuff. Yeah.
So to know that a person is that wound up, maybe? Is that the right word? Because he can sense something about her and he's trying to get to the bottom of what that is.
Yeah.
Right?
It was almost, he was trying to see how far he can go and trying to find her weak point.
What's driving you?
Yeah, her driving force. So what's her motivation?
Right. So that he could see, because the thing about it is what motivation does he have to help the police solve a crime? None. He in jail. He in prison for life. Why? Well, why would he? He don't have a motivation to do that.
No. But I also think part of her understood that too. Maybe that was the reason also she decided to go against the rules.
Right.
Because part of her wants he has no reason to help us. Right?
Right.
Her coming out there could have been just an empty mission. You know what I mean?
Right.
But why come all the way out here, right, for nothing, when if I can just get something,
right,
and now I can see that you're desperate,
right?
What is it in it? What's in it for you? Are you getting some type of promotion? Is this some deep-seated guilt because of a case? Is it because you're trying to prove someone wrong or prove someone right?
Right.
Are you running from your past? Like he was digging into that kind of trying to understand her motivation to maybe give him motivation to help her.
Right. Hey, and Soulfinger too. I think the thing that we might be overlooking in this case, in this case, no pun intended. In this case, when it's Clarice versus Hannibal, is that and I tried to build up the Clarice part because we already knew the Hannibal part. Both of these people are sociopaths.
Yep.
Right? Both of them.
Thin
Not just
line.
Hannibal. Clarice is a sociopath.
Yeah, because it was like a battle of wits.
But they were both.
And you're right. It was a battle of sociopath.
Right. And see, Hannibal recognized it early in the chess game of sociopaths, right?
Right.
Clarice recognized it later on with his one when Hannibal said quid pro quo. And when he said it back, when she said it back to him, that was when Hannibal, the sociopath, knew for sure he was dealing with another sociopath that he could potentially manipulate while being manipulated by her.
Yes.
Right.
That's the perfect synopsis right there, Freeze. That's the perfect synopsis.
Right, because here's the thing. This is how I'm gonna. This is how you know that Clarice is a sociopath. In the rain, in the late night, she went to a Baltimore storage unit. Right, when she could not get that door open, and a man was there and couldn't help her. And when she said, "Well, get your partner to come over here," and the partner didn't get out the car, he's like, "Man, the partner ain't come out here in the rain, man, lifting up no story. Can you come back in the morning?" She was like, "No." You know what the sociopath did?
Got
She
the jack.
went to a raggedy ass car and got a 6-ton jack to open that door.
Yeah.
Right? And we all, and the three of us know we done changed tires before. Why was a 6-ton jack in that little teeny ass car? Right? Think about it. Chuck, you done changed the tire before.
Absolutely.
You don't need no 6-ton. I mean, I'm sorry, not 6-ton, 3-ton. I'm thinking 6,000 pounds, but 3-ton jack. That teeny car she was driving might have been 2,200 pounds.
But you know what tickled me? But you know what tickled me was the car she was driving, and I had just said something about this on live. When you know, just a sidebar. You know, when you're talking about the car, your favorite car, or your dream car,
Right.
or classic car. Remember I told you about that Pinto?
Yep.
And that she was rolling in a Pinto.
Hilarious, bro. Hilarious.
See?
And that's the thing. You know, a Pinto don't have a jack that big in it at all.
Exactly, Chuck. Ain't no Pinto. How a Pinto gonna hold a jack that damn big?
Why would you need?
She had it laid across the back seat or something because that shit ain't come out the trunk. I mean, that joint ain't come out the trunk.
Yeah, but she had a 6. That tickled me because I saw when she going out to a Pinto. I was like, man, she going to a Pinto.
But I feel like that was a production call because it was like, there's no way anyone's going to believe she took that little jack that is used for the donut and opened this stuck door.
Right.
Exactly.
I think that was a prop.
Right.
Well, you know, I think what it was if you kind of look at her, she was all a minimalist because you notice she didn't have anything over the top.
Nope.
And then it goes back into her starting off trying to get in and where she came from, humble beginnings. Because here it is. This has happened in 1991.
Yep.
The Pinto was made in 1970. What?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So you're looking at the money.
And because what I thought when I saw the jack come out of the car, I'm like, well, did she ask my man for the jack out of his car? Right. And just something to consider. Right? So if the jack came out of his car, why was the jack not as fancy? Because the fancier your car is,
The nicer your jack, yeah.
Yeah. Everything is nice in it. Even your handbook. If you notice, the nicer your car is, the nicer the handbook is in your glove box, right?
Right.
And so when I looked at the jack, I was like, nope, hell no, that couldn't have been a jack out of that car, right? Couldn't have been, right? I can't remember exactly what type of car it was, but it looked too fancy to have that old raggedy jack out of a Ford LTD. You know what I'm saying? So when I saw that, I was like, you know what? The lady is a sociopath. What she did when she jacked up the jack, mind you, the dude was standing there with her. He ain't touched that jack not one time when she was trying to crank it, right?
Not at all.
Right? She was like, she gave the dude her business card to the Baltimore office just in case that door came down. Meaning, either on the spot or on the way there, she thought if this door closes on me, I'll be trapped in here. What normal people think that way? I'm going to get trapped in the storage unit. Who thinks like that? Nobody.
Sociopath.
Oh, a sociopath. Yeah. So the whole sociopath part, man, with me, let me know right then that these were equal opponents opposite each other on the chessboard. Hey, boss. Hey, sorry about that.
No problem.
Yeah, man. Were y'all thinking that deeply, or is it just me? Am I a sociopath? I was thinking when I was talking, I was like, well, hell, you take one to know one, ain't it?
You know, Freezer, I wasn't thinking that way until you said it. Now I got to start thinking about some of your tendencies.
Yeah, like, damn, is Uncle Freezy a sociopath? He on the internet 24/7. I mean, what the hell going on?
I mean, look, I've
Seen how you set people up for the debate, so I don't know. You know, trying to see where they at.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know. So Chuck, what did you think when she rolled up underneath the thing after giving the guy the card?
I think at that time I was like, her nose is wide open, like she's not going to stop.
Right.
Because as she's sliding under the door, she cuts her leg.
Yep.
Right. You saw how rusty that thing was. I would have stopped immediately. I'm going to the hospital, get me a tetanus shot.
Yep.
She bites the blood off. She goes in, and now I'm like,
she's relentless.
Yes.
Which goes back to the first scene of the movie, running through the forest, climbing up the wall, doing a forward flip on the rope net. All of that. I mean, she's relentless.
I won't stop.
Yep. Can't stop.
Hey,
can't stop, won't stop. Take that.
Because I have to silence these screaming lambs.
See, the whole thing is
very interesting. Very interesting because when you fast forward to, you know, maybe to Hannibal Rising, right?
Right.
Fast forward to Hannibal Rising, and then you see how and who he is, right?
Right.
And you learn that he is exactly like Sterling, except he tasted human flesh.
Yeah, he like human kidneys with fava beans and nice Chianti.
You saw his relentlessness, his inability to back down in that movie. In that movie, you just saw there was no talking him out of it. When he had vengeance on his mind, and throughout that movie, he would not stop until he sought his revenge. So I agree with Uncle Freezy. Like, he noticed himself immediately.
Right.
I know that look in your eye because I've had it.
Exactly.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
I'm accomplished. I have all this stuff, but there's something on the inside of me that is a raging sociopath.
Something
Well,
carnal.
yeah,
Right.
he really when you know when I was talking about how he looked her in the eyes, he noticed a kindred spirit. They were
Right.
the same soul, like you said. He noticed that she didn't, and see that's where it was. His with him being older, wiser, and her being younger and driven to try to shake off her humble home, or shake off, get the lambs out of her head.
Right.
She was so focused on, she didn't realize that they're one and the same, except for he's the male version of her.
I think when he looked in her eyes, he saw absolutely nothing. I think when he looked her in her eyes, he could see nothing. Deep space, right? Like if you've ever been around, like I've been. Okay, so I say this, I had a lot of jobs in my life, man. Probably because I was good at some and terrible at others. Reason why you change jobs, right? I looked at a dude that was in prison for a long time. I don't want to get into all of that stuff, but basically, he wasn't never getting out because of something he did to people. And when I looked at him, bro, I looked him in the eyes. There was nothing there. Nothing. Like no humanity. No nothing. Right? None of that. And I think when Hannibal looked at that, you know what I'm saying? I think that drew him in. And I think the triangulation of Hannibal Lecter, Buffalo Bill, and Clarice Starling is what drew him even. Notice there was a point that he was wanting to reach out to her. Think about all these official, important people in the movie. I'm the such and such and such and such. He's like, nah, I want to talk to Clarice. Because they had humanity in their eyes. See, Hannibal Lecter is an animal, right?
Yes.
And Clarice,
he's a straight predator. He was a straight predator.
Right. And Clarice, in some respects, is the same type, right? There was no point in that movie. Think about this. When did you ever see Clarice Starling show any type of empathy or anything like that for people in general? Right? There were times where, you know what I'm saying, where she was shocked by what she saw. Right? But there was no time that she backed down from anything.
Well, you know what, Freeze, when you said that, keep in point. Remember when they were looking at autopsy of the body?
Yep. I don't know if did I jump too far on it?
No, let's go.
Okay.
Well, on the autopsy of the body, you notice, and even when they were, even when the news report came out, there was nothing there, but it was just like a cold, dark stare, so to say. And he may not have seen anything, like you were saying, but the way I looked at it, I interpret that when they meant he saw that coldness, that darkness,
right,
being removed, and saw himself in her.
Right.
So she doesn't realize that, like you said.
Right.
But like I was saying, it's not even the tenacity, because she didn't realize. It's just that in a way it's a tenacity, but being a sociopath, you're locked in and you're cold, and she's emotionless. She had no, like the other people, like, oh Jesus, oh the heart, whatever. She was just like, oh well.
Yep. Right.
Just like oh well.
That's Benny. That's not Hannibal. That's Benny. Benny is just. My dog stopped barking. Just random. But So I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. There were multiple times in this movie where Clarice could have been human and she chose not to be. In the beginning, and I think you got to go outside. Hold on. Let me hold on, y'all. I'll be right back, y'all.
All right. So, one thing that I want to touch on real quick is that because see, I'm going to agree with Freezy based on the facts of Hannibal Rising, because Hannibal Rising, for those who haven't seen it, it's the origin of Hannibal Lecter, right?
Yeah.
And so when Freezy says that he saw nothing in her eyes, I also believe he saw that nothing, but he understands that she lost something. She went through something to get to this point.
Right.
Because I went through something that got me to this point. Because in that particular movie, he's a kid, happy-go-lucky kid who loved his sister, and events happened, and he lost his sister, right? And lost her in a very, very gruesome way.
Right.
And so that appetite never left him.
Right.
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 So when he sees her, what is your appetite? I think that's what he's trying to figure out. What
do you have a taste for? Yeah.
Right.
What is that itch
You just can't scratch.
Right. Because she is exactly like him. The only difference is he's a murderer.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And a choosy murderer too, not just a random sloppy murderer. He's a cold, calculated killer.
Oh yeah, he was a tactician.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. So I feel like in this beginning journey, he recognizes this, and this is why he's trying to bring that out. That's how we get the story of the lambs going out to slaughter.
Right.
Right. Because it was then that little girl, such as when he was a little boy, that traumatic experience wiped away all of his innocence.
Right.
Because if you notice, she wasn't crying at her father's funeral.
No.
She was just looking like
She had the 1,000-yard stare.
Right.
You know what she was doing? That, and Chuck, I was gonna get that again. Chuck and myself, we think alike. Chuck, that is the beginning of her having the mental recorder. That moment right there is the beginning of her taking in everything. Because notice, it wasn't just eyes on the casket; it was eyes on everyone in that room.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Before she got to the final, looking at the casket part. Because the thing about Hannibal is Hannibal had things taken away from him, but think about this. Clarice's mom died when she was young.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And then she said her father died when she was 10 years old. So to me, 10 years old is very young.
Yes.
But to her, she might be saying her mom died when she was 2 or 3 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the other thing too that I wanted to mention is every opportunity, like when people hit on her or when her friend made jokes about whatever, she didn't have any humanity, like no social skills, no nothing. Like she would smile or laugh or something, but it's merely to hurry up and usher to another moment. Like let's pass this silly conversation on to something else. Right. And so the thing with Clarice, man, is you could see when Hannibal. Listen, man. All right, so I'm gonna fast forward a little bit for the sake of time. Okay. Hannibal goes to see the senator. He gave them a little bit to act on, but not very much. You know what I'm saying? He joked with the senator. Senator get mad. Send him back to Baltimore. Blah blah blah.
You know,
Right?
on that senator scene, it was just that one little scene, the one little thing here, that the one more thing. I like your suit. That tickled the hell out of me.
The what? The what? I'm sorry.
When
I like
when
your
he
suit.
told when yeah, I like your suit. When he told the senator that tickled the hell out of me because everything he did was so cold and calculating. It was a reason behind every little thing.
Right. You one thing I noticed too before he left for Baltimore. I don't know if y'all noticed this part of that, but before he left for Baltimore, the crazy doctor was laying on his bed taunting him. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember that. The crazy doctor left his ink pen in that cell,
Yes.
and Hannibal took that pen without everybody knowing. And then
And
the
you know
crazy
what was
doctor, when asked to sign the document, was patting like, "Oh shoot,
where's my pen?"
yeah."
Right.
And Hannibal
The
looking at him.
look on Hannibal like this face during that scene, I was like, "Oh, this dude got the pen with him right now."
But you know what was so crazy? He was in there the way they had him strapped up, and I'm like, how in the hell did he get out of all that to get the pen?
Right.
So,
Or can I throw my conspiracy theory in there?
go ahead, Free.
Or was he given the pen?
That's the other part. Yeah,
Because remember, he was in a straitjacket.
he was in a straitjacket, all wrapped up and everything. He couldn't do it. So who could have given him? Because you know. So it makes your conspiracy theories like this. The staff didn't like the doctor because the doctor was doing his the way he was anyway.
Right.
The doctor was ass.
Right. Hey, and Chuck. Hey, Sophie, you got. Is that me? Hold on, let me go out and come back. That ain't Sophie. That ain't me. That ain't you, Sophie. That might be me. Hold on.
What happened?
Yeah, he had some echo going.
Okay. Y'all hear the echo still?
Was that Chuck?
Can you still hear the echo?
No.
Okay.
Is it me?
It might have been me. It might have been me. Oh, here's the thing. The reason why I'm saying is probably some conspiracy theory there. As you notice, the dude that jumped at his cell and threw the thing at Clarice when she was walking out that day, you notice her boss was like, "Hey, you know what's the name is dead, right?" And she's like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, he swallowed his tongue." And they were like, "Thank you, Hannibal Lecter."
Yeah.
So Hannibal Lecter talked somebody into killing themselves from 5 cells down, right? Would he be able to communicate some type of stuff to, say, the help? Like, I only need this pen to draw or whatever, something.
Yeah, you know what? Come to think about, I mean, you put it like that because it was crazy because that wasn't always this. That was when old boy that was in the cell. He made him kill himself. I was like, damn, you got to have one hell of a mouthpiece to make a cat kill himself.
Well, he's been locked down there with those guys for who knows how long, right? He's been locked up with those guys, so he knows what makes them tick.
Right.
He was well, still is. He's just in prison, a renowned psychiatrist. Right. So if I know what makes this guy tick, I know what to do to get him to, or push him over the edge. Right. I think that was the only time she showed emotion, when she got hit with the Spider-Man.
Yeah,
She got hit with that man gravy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
cried a little bit.
Right.
But even that didn't bother her.
Right.
In the moment, because after it happens, he calls her back to the cell.
Right.
And I would have if I were a woman in that situation, I'd have been beelining out of there. You know what I mean? But she goes back to get whatever information that he has. Right?
Yeah.
And then she leaves.
Chuck, you know that was a setup. That was a sociopath setting up another sociopath. The one thing now, her getting hit with the jizz, whatever, that's what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that she can use her female sensitivities to manipulate a sociopath to give her what she wants, bro, you're a man. Women do. Women probably have done that to you your whole life. I know it's been done to me.
For sure.
A woman will break down and cry in front of me in order to get what they want.
Yep.
It's part of the game. It's part of the game. When I saw it, I was like, there's no way a cold-blooded cat like this is shaken by inmates. Nah. Right? Because think about in her training when they were doing the drill or whatever, she was at the academy and the dude walk up behind her and point, hey, blah, blah, blah. See, she would have broke down in that moment because that's failure.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's failure. That goes towards her, not being a special agent. An inmate throwing some stuff on you, that's nothing. What she gonna do? Kill herself? No.
Unless it got in her eye and it was burning.
Yeah.
So.
No, I think it startled her.
Yes.
Then it offended Hannibal Lecter. Her knowing the moment she started crying, the sociopath was like, "Oh snap! I thought she was a sociopath. Maybe she not." Then he gets weak and calls her back. You know what I'm saying? But there's one sociopath moving their rook and their bishops around the sociopath chessboard in order to get what they want. Because she did it twice. She did it twice, and she did it twice during the movie, right? And she got what she wanted from the sociopath. She did it there. But what's the name? Also wasn't going to talk to her, and she bought him his drawings back.
Yep.
And when he was in the cage in the big room, right? And think about this: Hannibal Lecter throughout the movie never tried to escape or get away.
Nope.
Right? Until that movie until the parts where in that room where Clarice showed emotion, like, tell me, give me the answers. After that, the very next thing, Hannibal Lecter assaults police officers and breaks out.
But you also notice what he did when she ran back to him in that scene. When she showed emotion to get what she wanted and he had the files.
Right. Yep.
As he brushed her finger with his.
Yep. Bro.
I believe he didn't think about escaping until the doctor came in there and told him that the whole deal was BS.
Right.
And then the doctor saying how he could make, he made a deal with the governor himself. So he was like, okay, so they're going to have to move me. All right, I'm going to make my move.
Right.
Then, I think up until that point, he kind of trusted her. And I believe yes, both of them in that situation where she got the jizz thrown in her face, she could have avoided that. You notice she slowed down to watch what he was doing.
Yeah, she was watching what he was doing. He laying. Because first of all, you got a cat up there jerking around like that. You knew what he was doing.
He was butt naked.
Right.
Yeah, he butt booty ball naked. And then he extended the hand. Out comes the man gravy, and he's like, "I got you."
Right.
Right.
Like she could have saw that and again got out of there quickly. It was like she kind of slowed down. I don't know if she knew that was going to happen. Right. I don't think she knew that was going to happen, but
I mean,
Fast forward now. Go ahead, Chuck. You and your You and your thought, because some stupid popped in my head, man. I'll come in after you.
Nah, all I was going to say, she could have left, but she stayed because, like Unc said, they're playing this chess game, right. And once we find out what happened to the guy in that cell, I think she realized that they're two different people. Like,
right.
He's willing to kill.
Right. It's in a sense. It's she is a G leaguer, and he is an NBA All-Star, but they both play the same game.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You
that's a good. That's a good way to put it, Freeze.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So, when I was thinking about when they were both on the hunt. See, the thing about I forget his name. What's the killer name? Buffalo Bill.
Yes.
The thing about Buffalo Bill is Buffalo Bill. He wasn't intriguing to anybody because Clarice in the beginning, she wasn't even interested in the Buffalo Bill case. She was just worried about making it through the academy.
Right.
And they were like, yeah, I might know something. I might not. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, once they got that common thread established, you know what I'm saying? Then all of a sudden, the both of them bonded over the capture of Buffalo Bill. In my opinion.
Right. But see, I think Lecter knew from the beginning who Buffalo Bill was.
Okay.
Because how he casually brings up how he had a client once that was in a relationship with someone who was a little out there, that was closeted, and he was out there and he did something to a transient once upon a time when they were trying to get the name of Buffalo Bill. I feel like he knew, and this was one of his last hoorah or F you to the police by stringing her along.
Right.
Yeah.
But I also think it was him challenging her because he kept saying that she wasn't seeing everything.
Right. Right.
Like, I gave you his name. I gave you who he is. Like, he wasn't going to give her the name, right?
But he did, though. He gave her the name in an anagram. Remember, she wrote the name on the piece of paper?
On the piece of paper, yeah. When
and
she was leaving,
she deciphered it. He gave her the name in code, right?
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to give her the name, not the system the name.
Right.
Because he knew that they were probably being recorded or somebody could hear their conversation or something like that. Mm-hmm. So he gave her the anagram, and because when he said the word y'all, knowing that he speaks proper English, she knew that everything after that word was information about the killer. That's why she told her boss, she was like, yeah, I knew he was giving me intel. This is what she saw the boss. I knew he was giving me intel because he doesn't speak that way. When I heard him say that word, I knew that wasn't the type person he is. So everything after that phrase, he gave it to her. She wrote down certain keywords on that pad when she was with the other chick, and that's how they found the place, the storage unit.
Right.
Bro, there was so many clues in this movie. I don't even and away from the story a little bit. I found that there were more villains in this movie.
Oh yeah,
that we acknowledged.
They had level. They had layers to the villains in this.
Yeah,
layers to the villains.
Yep. Like those two dumb police officers, the one that got assaulted in Baltimore.
Oh man, you know
they were idiots.
Yeah, and you actually was looking forward to seeing them get it.
Right. Yo, even the dog. Remember the dog, the little white dog?
Yeah.
Even I was like, yo, this dog can get it too. Until the end, when I seen the victim walk out with the dog.
With the dog, yeah.
Yeah.
She was keeping
the doctor was definitely a villain. Or an opportunist.
Yeah, right. I think he was both. He was a villain and an opportunist. Because the way I got from him is the little crazy doctor, the creepy doctor we all been talking about, because he used his position to try to get things that he wanted.
Yep.
And he also uses, because he liked to bully. He liked to bully whoever, and he was just like he was trying to do with Hannibal.
Yeah, right.
He wanted fame and fortune.
Yep.
That's why when he said he struck up the deal with the senator and he put in a few minor things for himself, the first thing he does is have a press conference and then make sure that he said his name. I'm Dr. So-and-so.
Even
I'm the guy that got into the mind of Hannibal Lecter to get this name.
Yep.
Hannibal Lecter was important to him. He knew Hannibal Lecter was a come up because he was recording his cell.
Right.
Right. And he knew that could have been books and speaking engagements and everything that will get him out
TV
of
shows. Yep.
Right. The hospital. Right. There's no fame and fortune in the hospital. He's probably making a good living. But not as much of a living or having a name of the guy who broke Hannibal Lecter, renowned serial killer, renowned psychologist, right, and helped single-handedly capture one of the biggest threats at the time, Buffalo Bill. So he was devious, and like I said, an opportunist.
Right.
Basically, you're describing a parasite.
Basically.
Right. And he's the reason why everything turned out the way it was. Because like Freezy said, he leaves the pen on the bed, unattended.
Right. He's clumsy.
You know what I found out? Sorry, Chuck. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I found it rather ironic that he did that because of all the stuff he was telling everybody else to do and do this and do that, that in his own way for greed and everything else, he did himself in. It was really ironic how it came back around.
Right.
He got comfortable.
Yeah.
Because he felt he won.
Right.
He no longer has to be the caretaker of Hannibal Lecter. I know the black guys were really the caretakers, but he was running that facility.
Yeah.
No longer does he have to be in that facility. Hannibal Lecter will be someone else's responsibility, and he can tour the world, signing books, signing autographs, making tons of money.
He can be on Geraldo. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. He could be on Geraldo, on Donahue, on Montel, all them shows that was out at the time. Oprah, all them shows that was out at the time. He could have been on all of them.
Don't forget Sally Jesse.
And Sally Jesse Raphael with the glasses. Yep.
Right.
But the one thing I noticed though is and I'm gonna speed up just a little bit just for the sake of time and all that. I noticed the further along into the movie we got, or down the road of solving this issue, the more Clarice started to think like Hannibal Lecter, the less she started thinking about herself. Right? Right? The more she started thinking about Lecter, the less she started thinking like herself. Right? Like at the end of the movie, right? She noticed all these different things. She noticed the sewing machine with all these different type of threads. Right? Right. She noticed the room upstairs doesn't look like a room of somebody that is going to be gone for 2 or 3 days. It looks like the room of somebody that just left and thought they was coming right back.
Exactly.
Right. Y'all notice the room when the dude downstairs like, yeah, you know, she the interview and she just never came back and blah blah blah.
Right.
When you go in the room, you see like it don't look like it look like, you know how you leave your room, like you wake up in the morning and you go brush your teeth or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It looked like that. Like I'll be right back. Not one of them I'll be back, but I'm talking about like I'm just going in here to wash my face type moves. And when she looked in the closet and saw that diamond on her coat, that was a wrap.
Yeah, it was a wrap because she knew what was going on then. She's like, aha, I got it. But also they gave a background on the killer.
Right.
Before you knew what was up. Because of the women, because you looked at the size of the women. He was getting he was going after the hefty ones, the thick ones.
Right.
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 I thought that was very interesting. And so her being that observant when she goes to the next residence, it's like, okay, you have garment bags, clear garment bags. Why?
Right.
And then the dead giveaway, of course, was the moth.
Yep.
But she's putting it together with each step into the house.
Right.
She's putting it together. And so the moth was just the icing on the cake. Like, yeah, I got the right person. I'm in the right place.
Right.
Thank you, Chuck. Because earlier I wanted to say something about her perception and everything. I didn't want to get too far ahead. Well, you just, as you was talking about the moth, remember in the autopsy, they took the picture and she was looking at the picture, but they saw that little shadow or mark on her tongue, on the victim's tongue. And she went back, and then they pulled the crystal
larvae
out of the mouth of the victim. Yeah. See, and that's her perception was like spot on, because nobody else, they taking pictures, everybody's looking at it, but then she noticed that right off the rip.
Right. Hey, Sophie, and you know what though? You know the reason why she was my dog outside, he mad at something, I don't know, but you remember how she cleared the room of the police department? Remember how all of them was in there? They just drinking coffee and smoking cigarettes and and talking nonsense. Yeah, this
Yeah.
killer's aggressive. Yeah, blah. Oh, blah. I ain't never seen a man. Y'all get on out of here. Y'all get out of here. She pulled what we call, like, I like to call a Fox Mulder. Y'all remember X-Files?
Yes.
Like when
Fox was the man. Yeah.
with the goofy town cops, you know what I'm saying, have like the basic law enforcement experience. Like them dudes in that room, they don't have degrees in law enforcement, right? You could tell they got hired and went to the academy and came back, right? But they don't have degrees in law enforcement. You can tell by the way they moved around the room, about how they wore the uniforms. These were low-level town cops, and nothing against that. Like, no disrespect, right? No disrespect for them, to them. But she knew that. That's why she's like, y'all going. Remember how she cleared out the room when her boss was over there on the fax machine? Her boss was over there on the fax machine trying to get certain stuff sent, right? And everybody, so she was like, no, we'll never get this case solved with 25 Barney Fifes in here.
Right.
Basically.
But see, I felt like in the beginning, like when they first went there and they were in the midst of those cops, I thought that the boss did her dirty, right?
Right.
You know, not wanting to talk in front of the woman because of the sensitivity of that, of the nature of the crime.
Right.
And I'm like, why would you do that? Why would you do that to this woman when you know she's not like that? Right. So I felt like in that moment, it was her reclaiming her dominance.
Right.
Because after it was said, you know, when they first got there, right, and they went in the room and started talking, she started looking around the room, and she was looking at everybody's face and looking at their mannerisms and how they were looking back at her, right? Kind of like, what is this woman cop knows? What is this, you know, uptight city slicker going on? We the one found this girl. You know, whatever.
Right.
And so in that moment, it was like, okay. To all the points that you said, could you imagine them opening up the body bag with all those people in there?
Right.
Trying to take those pictures, having to say, excuse me. And she knew that they were going to mess it up.
Yeah.
She could have been a jerk about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Knowing that that is a small town and they probably talk the same.
Yeah.
You know, how she came across, how she enunciated her words, how she y'all gone now.
Yep.
That's why
I kind of also look at it like this. You knew where she was from because she was from a small town like that.
Yep.
But yet she's up here, so you're trying to be something more than what you are. We know you know what you came from. You're from the same place as we are. So you trying to act all uppity, high and mighty, like you better than us. That type of mentality as well amongst us. Along with the fact that this is a woman and I'm a man. This is our town. We know how things go. You federal boys think you're better than us anyway. So we're gonna show you. It's that kind. It's all kinds of. It was like a lot of layers to this.
But I didn't think it was sexism. Right? I don't think it was sexism. What I thought it was she wasn't a special agent yet. He was representing the CIA, or it was the FBI, CIA, FBI, one of them. FBI. Let's just say FBI.
It was the FBI.
Right. She was. They were representing the FBI, but she wasn't a special agent yet. She was just a student. She's at the academy, right? And he's representing the agency in a crime, right? And the thing about it is, he knew she was skilled, but he still had to be like, yo, you know, we don't want to talk around, you know, such and such, and blah, 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 boom, boom. But he knew that he needed her talents because when we go because I'll tell you what, if you only went by with the goofy car and see the coroner and the assistant coroner in this thing were goofballs,
Yes.
lazy.
If
It
you
was
look at
like it was like Ernest T. Bass and Barney Fife trying to do an autopsy.
but you
Right.
notice the head corner. Well, the assistant had the stuff, to kill the smell. You
Yeah.
notice the head corner didn't have anything on his nose at all to kill
Right.
smell. So he was weird in his own way.
Right. But the thing, Sophie, the thing I was gonna say is like when they were like examining her at the back, the coroner was saying stupid stuff, right? Like, oh, she wet. Oh, she got leaves on her leg.
Mm-hmm.
And, we see that. That's not breaking. You went to school for that? To see that she wet? You took her out the water. You went to school for that? You know what I'm saying? You an idiot. Yeah. But Clarice said, no, this girl is from the city. She's uptown. Look at her fingernails. She's got glittery fingernails. Look at that. They don't do that around here in the country. She's saying this girl that was in here on this thing had style, like city style, which differentiated her from a normal old country girl.
Right.
And not that country girls don't do that. It's that the city girls are up on all the latest styles, glittery fingernail polish and all of that stuff. Right. And so she was like, look at her nails. Right. Look at her fingernails. She's got nails broke off and she's got dirt under her fingernails, meaning she tried to climb out of something. Right. And she didn't have the same thing on her feet, which later on we find out, and I'll fast forward a little bit for the sake of time. The girl that did survive, she was down in a well, right? Which lets you know the girl that we seen before her was in a well and was trying to climb her way out of that well. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But if you'd have left it just for the goofball coroner, yeah, she's soaking wet. Really? You got her out of a river. You thought she was gonna be dry? You paid 4 years of school for that? So, and then when she was talking into the recorder, this is one of the important parts. When she was talking into the recorder about the things that she saw, she mentioned everything. Like, remember the skin that came off her back? She described that skin to a T. It's in a diamond-shaped pattern, 6 inches away from her shoulder blades, 4 inches above her buttocks. All that. Remember how she was saying all that? She was like, it's the same exact cut on both sides, right? All of that, right? The coroner was like, oh my God. Think about what the coroner said. She's got skin missing off her back. Really? You went to school for that? I mean, what the fuck? When you was running for coroner, you couldn't have. Who was the candidate running against you when you were the coroner? When y'all was going for, you know what I'm saying? So, and then so figure two. If you remember on the way back, remember she was sitting in the back seat talking into the recorder. Her boss, who was half sleepy, tired, both of them tired. He's like, yo, I don't know if I told you this, but I'm really glad to have you on the case. You did a good job back there. Right? So if she was offended and thought that was him trying to be, saying sexist in that moment, he did, before the trip was over, tell her that he appreciated her. I don't know what we'd do in this case without you. You know what I'm saying? Because
no, when I'm saying that, I was looking at more or less because of the cops in the room, not so him, but the cop, the little small town cops.
Right.
That's what I was referring it mainly to them, more so than him, because because he's looking at it from his standpoint where he's the head, he's running the lead, but I got this young trainee right here, so I can only let her go so far. But these cats are looking at her. I'm looking at how the sheriffs, the police officers were, the sheriffs and stuff.
Right.
They're looking at like, man, who are you? I got kids your age. That type deal.
Right. So I want to fast forward to the end, right? Just to say this. I want to fast forward to the end, right?
You want to fast forward to the little dancing scene there, Chuck?
Yeah.
I'm just messing around with it. That the most iconic during the time, the most shocking scene, one of the most shocking scenes. You remember during that time, that kind of scene for a guy to do was crazy in itself.
Right.
That's what I was saying. We had the whole Buffalo Bill joke going on amongst the fellas.
Right.
But like you said, fast forward to the ending. Are you fast forwarding to?
Let's fast forward to that. Let's fast forward to that.
Oh, to that? Okay, I thought you were gonna go towards the how Hannibal did his thing to lead on up to getting to going back to Buffalo Bill.
Okay. Hey, well, elaborate on that part then.
Which one? The escape?
Yeah.
Well, after Hannibal had already let her know what she needed to know, so he was done. It was almost as if he was, I guess he was tired of playing with his new toy.
Right.
So, and now he was making his move because now he wants to get out. Because remember, like I said, everything he did was with a purpose. It was calculating.
Right.
Everything was calculating that he did on up to his escape. Because you notice when when they offered him the bone, he saw his way to get out, to get back in civilization. Because he wanted to go back out and explore the world again. You could hear it in the conversation, little things like that. Because remember, he was in the cell and she's like, when he was drawing the picture of that city, and he said, "All I have is my memories now."
Right.
So he was in the business of making new memories. So his escape also was the creepy doc. He wanted, it wasn't a thing of revenge. I think he actually wanted to just eat the creepy doc just because of who he was.
Right.
Not on the whole revenge tip, but he actually wanted to eat him.
Okay.
But the way he went about it, that whole, I mean, you got SWAT teams, you got the police, and that, remember, we go back to the ink pen that was missing.
Right.
That was the key element, the key thing to get him out.
Right.
I think he wanted to hunt.
That's what he wanted to do, and he found his prey in that doctor.
Right. I was gonna say the Buffalo Bill character to me was not an amazing character.
No,
and the way they built him up
to me, he was more funny to me.
Right. He was not amazing. He was not compelling at all. The two most compelling characters were the ones that were trying to silence the lambs. Right.
Yeah, I believe that those two were the main characters in the movie, and Bill was the side character. He was the bridge.
Right. He was important, but not compelling.
Right.
He didn't give you villain vibes. He looked creepy.
Well, his story though, once you got into his backstory, it was tragedy because it let you know he went through a lot of childhood trauma, and then now he was transgender before transgender was even a true word to get out of society at the time.
Right.
Because when they profiled him, he may have tried to get have surgery because he wanted to be a woman.
Right.
They brought all that up.
Right.
And it goes to that scene when he's dancing and everything, and he does the infamous tuck, he does the tuck rule, does the Tom Brady, the tuck rule.
Right.
And goes into that. Right. Case in point, when Clarice, because that's that.
Hey, Sophie, you got some headphones?
Yeah, I got them in now.
So what is that? Me?
I know, I've been hearing the echo too. I can go out and come back in. Let me go out and come back in.
Okay. I don't know where the echo comes from because me and Chuck rock, you know what I'm saying, for the most part. And you know what I'm saying, we don't get the echo. So I'm trying to figure out if the echo thing is something that I did or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's Soulfinger or not. It may just be the app, but the three of us rocked a couple of weeks ago, and see, I hear the echo now, Chuck.
It's me.
Okay, man. All right, so just going into the part about the Buffalo Bill character, even though there are parts of it. So even though, Soulfinger, we Chuck think it's him, man, with the echo.
You sure?
I don't hear it now.
I don't hear it now either. It could have been, my connection or something. I don't hear it now.
Okay. I appreciate that, bro. But I think the character building, the sexuality piece to it, and all of that, I don't know if I completely buy into that, turning somebody into that, because that's a monster.
Well, that's what it is. I think with the way they threw it out there was to try an attempt to throw you off of the true, because Buffalo Bill, like I said, he was more funny to me because of the dance and would you, I would and all like that. And because now every time I see that actor, I always see him as Buffalo Bill. No matter what he does, he sticks out as Buffalo Bill.
Right.
But Hannibal Lecter was a more intriguing character, because you want to get in, because as I was watching the movie, I'm just speaking for me, the more he talked and the way he was breaking stuff down, I kept wanting to know more about him. I kept wanting to see more Hannibal.
Right. I would say ultimately the catching of Buffalo Bill was more compelling than Buffalo Bill himself. The end scene when Clarice was in the house.
Oh yeah.
That was more compelling.
Mm-hmm. When he hit the light and got to run around them night vision joints.
Right. That took you back to Clarice's failings at the academy.
Mm-hmm.
Like you knew she was going to fail because she failed at it before, when there was absolutely no pressure. Now her life is on the line and somebody else's life is on the line, and she's in that same predicament. And while we thought about that, we were like, yeah, Clarice is going to fail right here. Sorry.
Oh no, I was gonna say I like how you brought it back around, because you brought that right back around to what you said you were talking about earlier about the blind spot.
Right. Her blind spot. And so at the end, when you saw her reach for her and miss, and she didn't even know that he reached for her, you thought he could just kill her right then. When he pulled the pistol out and attempted to shoot her, and the gun didn't go off, you're like, oh my god, what the fuck? What kind of killer is this?
Yeah,
you a killer that's not good at killing?
She heard him pull a hammer back.
Yeah. Right, she did. She heard him cock it, and then went from there. But what was funny, I remember when I was watching it in the theater, and it was fun watching the theater because it was a packed theater when I saw it. And when he was reaching out to her, you hear all these people screaming in the movie like, "Oh my god, turn around!"
Right.
It just tickled me. I'm in the movie rolling, so that's why that was a movie. That was one of them joints you want to go to the theater and see with the crowd. Well, it depends on where you're at too.
Hey, so where I'm lost at is, she is in his domain. He knows every bit of that house, whether it's dark or not.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all done walked around your house in the dark. Y'all know what stuff at.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Now you might not be able to see 20/20 in the dark, but you know the refrigerator is over here and the couch is over there. You know what I'm saying?
And the dead body that's been decaying for like forever is in the tub over there.
In the tub, yes. And then for him to be right behind her, to pull a hammer back on a automatic, I listen. I know guns. I understand. But if you got a clip gun, right? You should already have the hammer back if you're ready to go,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because think about it. His gun cocks and she spins in a circle and blasts him 6 times. So much so that she's still shaking the things out to try to put more bullets in. But a man is already dead. But he cocked back. All he had to do was pull the trigger once. When I saw it, I was like, did he get a F in killer school?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
I think he was set back in remedial.
Yeah.
He got set back while all the others moved ahead. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what, like you said, he knows every bit of that house, even if it's dark. He has on the night camera goggles, right? So he's playing with her, and he played a little too much.
Yeah.
And because she had no idea where she was going, but then she gets to drop when she hears that noise. So
well, you remember when the lights first went out and she went into the room, she was trying to feel her way around. She pulled out the gun. Excuse me, and she fell a couple of times. She's getting up and you see the panic on her face. And he's just stalking her, he's stalking her like a big game hunter.
Right. And Sophie, the other thing too, you notice
60 seconds to pick up a house phone and call for backup.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And you know what the other thing too is, I noticed. Did y'all notice that bullets make the lights come on? Because when she blasted him, the lights came on.
Well, yeah, she hit because she broke the window. Light came in the room, but the whole place just lit up. Like
the whole place lit up. Yes.
I was like, damn, hey, so she had magic bullets.
Yeah.
One thing that I want to say about the Buffalo Bill character, you did see that he did have some remorse,
right?
Because the part of the movie that I quoted earlier on yesterday was, it puts the lotion on its skin.
Yes.
Or it gets
Good. Yes, he did.
The girl was pleading and crying. She wanted to go home. And he was trying hard not to listen to it or refer to her other than it.
As a person.
As a human.
Right.
Mm-hmm. As a human.
Because in the early part of the movie, when the mother is at the press conference and she says her daughter's name, and she kept saying her daughter's name, and they said, well,
made her human.
Right. That if he's listening, he hears her name, it makes her human, and he's less likely to harm her.
Right.
And you can see that with him in that scene where he did not want to acknowledge her being a human being.
Yeah. I remember that he repeated that over around. It puts the lotion on its skin.
Right.
I thought the Bill character was cool. It wasn't at the front of the movie. Like, we know it was the story, but I think the focus of the movie was the chess playing of the minds of Clarice and Dr.
Hannibal. Yeah. I think Buffalo, the character Buffalo Bill was, like I said, he was funny to me because, again, I had these sick, twisted minds where you had jokes about it. And it was that scene, the scene with him dancing, and you see him doing the whole tuck rule thing that really made the character for most people, because it was the most shocking thing to see, especially, like I said, one last, cat tucking his junk away and dancing the way he did, you know.
that was different. That was different. We don't see anything as shocking like this until '92, when a little movie comes out called The Crying Game.
What's the name of the movie?
The Crying Game.
The Crying
Okay.
Game.
Okay. Right. And so time and setting is important. You know what I'm saying, for certain topics. But this movie, I think by now everybody knows how it ends. She shoots the guy, they find the girl, she's reunited with the senator, the girl keeps the dog, Hannibal Lecter is free in a Shawshank Redemption type of way, and things of that sort, right?
Yep.
What I think most people sleep on is Buffalo Bill taking a fall for somebody else who I think is the real villain. I think the cat that's there is the Manchurian Candidate. I never thought he was the villain.
Oh, you talking about the guy that was there when she first went to the house to go talk to her and she was looking around.
Yeah. Right.
That's something to think about, because never thought looked at it that way either.
I never thought either of them were the guys. I think they were the cronies. I think Buffalo Bill is a corporation, not a one-person thing.
Okay.
I think Buffalo Bill. Remember how I said in the beginning I thought her boss was Buffalo Bill?
Yeah.
You remember how they kept showing a hand with the words love tattooed on it? And with a heart and stuff on it? I think they showed that for a reason. And remember how they showed the villain putting makeup on that to cover it up? Remember that? Maybe I'm the only one. But at the end of the movie, the director made sure that you saw three things, right? Or four things, geez. The director made sure that you saw Clarice get hung up on by Hannibal Lecter, and her basically longing for him to be on the other end of that phone.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I also like what he told her at the end of that. Right. When he hung her, he said, "Don't worry, Clarice, I'm not coming after you. The world is a better place with you in it, or more entertaining place with you in it." If I remember it right.
Right.
And when he because you remember, what are you doing? Oh, I'm going to have a friend for dinner.
Yep.
Hangs up, and she's there. Dr. Lecter. Now, what got me is, he hung up a while ago. You still screaming Dr. Lecter, and you don't hear the click and the busy signal.
Right.
But I see what you're saying with the longing, because now you don't have that connection, somebody that actually understands the way you tick.
Right. You know that one of the other things though is the director wanted you to see that the promise to Hannibal Lecter was fulfilled, whether it was by the promiser or serendipity. The promise is fulfilled. Hannibal Lecter gets to walk on the beach. Right? Remember the stuff they promised him in the beginning of the movie? Hannibal Lecter escapes. He goes to a Caribbean country. Guess what Hannibal Lecter gets?
Go to his Caribbean company.
Serendipity. What they promised him, whether they give it to him or he get it for himself. The other thing with that, just real quick, the other thing with that, you know how I mentioned the hand with the love tattoo on it?
Yeah.
At the end of the movie, there is a still shot of Clarice shaking hands with her boss. and
Yeah.
it's focused on where the word love would be on somebody's hand with that same tattoo.
Mm.
Because think about it. Why would you? What's important? Why would the director? What's so important about Clarice and this dude shaking hands? They could have did a wide angle shot of that and showed the party, right? So what? He just shake hands. People shake hands all the time. People do all kinds of special handshakes, and you know what I'm saying. So to me, when I saw it, I was like, "Oh snap! This dude is the real Buffalo Bill," is what I'm thinking. Now, mind you, I've seen the other Hannibal movies. I can't remember them, right? So I got to go back now. I got to watch Hannibal and
Hannibal Rising and Hannibal.
Yeah, I got to go back and watch all
Red
these movies in a
Dragon.
row.
Red Dragon.
Yeah. Now I got to go back and watch all these movies.
But you know, I would say this. You said a word, so for anybody, you know, it's Frieza using Walt Clyde's favorite word, one of his favorite words, serendipity.
Serendipity. Yeah. So it was. Am I overthinking that or no?
I never looked at it like that. I never looked at it like that, because the thing is Dr. Lecter knew who he was. He had already figured out who he was and all that. I think the boss was using this whole situation as a way to springboard his career as well as Clarice was using it to springboard herself. It was at first it was all ambition for her in the beginning, and then ambition turned into her who she was.
Yeah.
Not as a killer, but the game, the hunt, the chase. That's what it became. It started becoming more primeval. Primeval for us. It was the thing. It's you know how dogs got to howl at certain times of the day or whatever.
Right.
It's just in an instinct, and that's what it was. This whole thing was the chase.
Okay.
So everybody was using this situation, even with the little creepy doc.
Yeah.
It was everything was situational. It was going down to I think this movie really was breaking people down to the core, the natural, to their core elements,
Their
to the
essence.
fine elements, the essence. There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you, Frieza. Thank you.
Yeah.
See, tell you. So and that's what it was. I think this movie was breaking everything down to the essence of who they were, the true being, the true self.
Right.
Because when you really look at it, you may look at Hannibal as a monster, but on the flip side, you can look at every player in this movie as a monster in their own way. Maybe I'm overthinking or going down the wrong or another path.
Now, monsters are overrated term, bro. Sesame Street is full of monsters, bro.
That is true. That is so very true.
Yeah.
I would say, well, I said, how about we not use the word monster, but you can use the word villain in their own way.
Okay.
Because everybody was a villain in their own way. They used, because everybody was trying to use Hannibal to get what they wanted, but he used them. Hannibal was almost, you can look at it like this here, Freeze. Hannibal was almost like a pimp.
Right. Okay.
He was a hustler. He was pimping. He pimped them to get what he wanted. He hustled them to get what he wanted.
Right.
Because in the end, you said it yourself. He got back on the beach like he wanted.
He got
what he wanted.
They made him a promise, and that promise was fulfilled.
Yeah, they did. Whether they realized it or not, which they really didn't.
Right.
Because once he knew once he got to a lesser security, a place with lesser security, he can get out at any time.
Right. Hey,
as long as he was in that.
But
go ahead.
See, the thing about it is, him in that place, he could have got out of that place without
killing.
He could have got
out of there. Yeah, he could have. He could have got out of there.
Once he handcuffed the dude and beat the other dude, he could have just walked out the back door.
No, but the killing of the cop I think it was a two-pronged thing. One is the cops were, they were dummies for one.
Right.
They were stupid as hell for one. But the other one was being an ass to him.
Right.
Was being an ass. So that was kind of like, I'm gonna show you who I am. And then The way he
Oh, you went all Angela Bassett. Show them who you are.
Show you, yeah.
Yeah, y'all remember that? Y'all remember that from Black Panther?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, yo, Chadwick Boseman, may he rest in peace, is getting his ass kicked, and he looking for advice. He's like, "Mom, I'm over here getting my ass kicked," and Angela Bassett's like, "Show them who you are." Really? This dude is kicking my behind, and that's the advice you got for me?
Yeah, he hit me with a fist in the foot. Look, he hit me with a fist in the foot at the same time.
At the same time, in the same place. And you talk about show them who you are.
And then he talking to me. This is your king? Oh, why we gotta be like that, man? Come on.
Yeah, yeah, man.
So
hey,
I'll go ahead, Freeze.
I was gonna say, man, I need to wrap right here because I got to do the Big Boss Man roundtable in a few. The New York Giants is getting the bejesus beat out of them right now.
Yeah, man. Look, I had it on silent and I flipped over to the game and I was like, ooh, yeah. But you know what? Yeah, they're going. Year. But they hey, look, I can't talk because my team was they got down to the sit your ass. They were in the sit your ass down room for the longest.
Yeah,
they just watching. And I mean, look, Philly was hot, and I actually called this. I mean, shout out to the G-Man. You did. You shocked for some, you shocked the world. Yeah. You know, shout out to the G-Man. You did. Yeah, you came, you handled your business, but that Philly's a buzzsaw. That's a meat grinder right now.
Yeah. So, you know how it is, man. Sorry, G-Man. But I got the Big Boss Man roundtable, man. You know, both of y'all, of course, y'all invited, man. If y'all want to hang out, you know what I'm saying? It's cool. If not, it's cool. You know, that's Woodshed 1914's thing. And so we do it for the members of the Lawrence Tears channel. So we'll record it and then we'll put it up, you know what I'm saying, in all of that stuff. But anyway, thank you everybody for coming through, rocking with us, hanging out with us. This is a fast 2 hours. I can't believe this is 2 hours.
Oh, it's been 2 hours already?
The movie.
Yes. And we could have got deep. We could have got deeper into the movie, but
it's these type of movies. Because remember, Freeze, we never finished Boys in the Hood.
Yeah, it's still ongoing, bro.
Yeah, we couldn't get past the first stance, and I think we were on for 2 hours just talking about the first stance.
Right. We didn't even talk about Furious Styles Jr. Right? You know what I'm saying? So there was an original Furious Styles, the grandfather that we never saw, because you don't name your son Furious Styles the third or Trey if there is not an original or if there's not the second. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of stuff that go. A lot of stuff that go into this.
A lot of stuff to unpack in that movie.
Yeah, John Singleton's a genius. But
R.I.P.
Yeah, I want to do this again next week, man. I don't know what y'all schedules are like, but we definitely, if we do it, man, we definitely got to pick a movie. It's up to y'all. If y'all want to pick one now, that way I can kind of watch it a couple times during the week.
I'm down. I'm down. I don't think I have any games or anything pending. If anything changed on my schedule, I'll let you know. But I'm down for this. You know me. I love talking movies and breaking it down and seeing it from different perspectives.
What I was gonna say is I want to see a Martin Scorsese film, but I don't want to see nothing like Scarface, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to do something like that. Peel back the layers on something like. I think an intriguing movie to watch is Rocky, and it's really basic until you start talking about Paulie and Spider Rico. You know what I'm saying? And people like that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'll do like a 60-second, like at the beginning of Rocky, bro. Rocky fight a dude. After everybody get paid, Rocky going home with $10.
Yeah.
Rocky get his face beat in by Spider Rico for like $50 after gym membership, towels, trainers, doctors, all that stuff. That man fought and is going home with $10.
I'm gonna throw one out that I would, if you do it, we keep, we continue to do this. That I would love to hear. I want, and I say love all the time when it comes to certain things, like, because I get, I'm in about my movies.
Right.
And I told you about it before. Road to Perdition.
Okay.
That's one that we can get. I like to jump on down because of. To me, I think it had a few. It's layered. It's layers to it as well, and it's deep. And you're seeing Tom Hanks in a role in a way you never seen Tom Hanks for one. But and then the period. It's also a period piece.
Right.
And it has a hell of a cast. Hell of a cast.
Right. Okay. Let's do it. Let's do it. Is that Chuck? You okay with that one?
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
We doing Rocky. You gonna do Rocky, or you want to do? We do Rocky. You brought Rocky. I said we do Rocky, and then we can do Road to Perdition next.
Nah, man. Rocky one. We can do Rocky anytime, bro. We can do Rocky anytime, man. But Road to Perdition. Yeah. Let's do it.
All right, let's do that, man. Because I'm gonna tell you, I don't know what. Like I said, I'm gonna watch it because I watched it recently, and I'm gonna watch it again. Shout out to Tom Hanks, because I think Tom Hanks is as much credit as he get. I don't think he gets a lot of credit as much credit as he should get. He gets credit, but I don't think he gets the credit he should get. He's a versatile actor.
Okay. All right. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. If somebody asked me if somebody had to go, Tom Hanks or Denzel, I always say Denzel.
I remember you said that. We talked about that too. And recently I watched one of my other favorite Denzel movies, Devil in a Blue Dress.
Oh, jeez.
It was Don Cheadle makes the movie for me, man. I love. Hey, Mouse was from.
Yeah. Well, I mean, things. I like Denzel. I just think Denzel is typecast, like Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They typecast. You know what I'm saying? Like Denzel is always going to be the stern dude, whatever movie. Like to me, Philadelphia is his best movie. Right? And it just also happens it happens to have Tom Hanks. You know what I'm saying? So, it's one of them. Maybe we can do Matter of fact, I'm gonna go in here and watch Philadelphia tonight. See if we should put it on the list. Because if we're talking about because when we were talking about Buffalo Bill and cutting edge topics, what's more cutting edge?
Philadelphia. Philadelphia. You know what? Philadelphia had a lot of cats shook.
Yep. You can't even touch a girl now.
Yeah, man. Look,
Philadelphia come out, girl be fine. You be like, no, thank you. I'm in bubble wrap, girl.
Mm-hmm. I mean, think about it though, Philly. Freezer. Think about it. Philadelphia started. I mean, Belle Biv DeVoe got to give props to Philadelphia because that girl is what?
Don't
trust a big button or what?
Yep. Yeah. Girl, I must warn you. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. Hey, Chuck, thanks for hanging out with me tonight, bro. I appreciate the company. Soulfinger, thanks for hanging out with me, man. I appreciate the company, y'all. I'm gonna go hang out with after the Giants finish getting this, bro. It don't make no sense for a team to lose like this on national TV, bro.
Yeah, they got taken to the woodshed. No pun.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna throw the pun out there when I see woodshed in a few minutes.
Yeah, but like I said, I can't talk because my team is in the sit your ass down room.
Yeah. Well, at least.
Well, they didn't even make it to the six. My team didn't even make it there. They ain't even in the building. They on the outside looking in. At least you did not offend the Jets.
Hoodie Kev called me every day talking about the Jets, bro. I was like, Hoodie Kev, well, go get Joe Namath, bro. Go. Since you ain't got a quarterback, just tell Joe Namath to take his fur coat off and go get under center or go get in the shotgun.
With the handlebar
mustache and Brill cream. Yeah, I just smell like 2 gallons of Aquavelva. Yeah, man. All right, y'all. I'm gonna get out of here, man. I'll holler at y'all later, man.
Peace. All right, now be easy.
Yeah. All right.
Later.